The CIA tasks McCall with finding a man named Dorian who has discovered something that can change the world. Hello, everybody. I'm Steve from VALHARTV, and today I'll be reviewing The Equalizer Episode 5. So we start out with Robin and Bishop meeting at a basketball court. Now, he says the CIA wants her to find a man named Dorian who has gone missing. He was there on a work visa from England, I believe it was, and they want her to find him and bring him back to either them or the British, from what I could gather from this. Robin does point out, though, that she is overqualified for a find and bring in type mission, and Bishop says it's a milk run, which means it's an easy task, and the CIA will leave her alone for a little while if she does this for them. So they basically want her to find Dorian and bring them to, either them or the British. But she doesn't really find out why they're looking for him until later on. And as Robin investigates, she finds out that Dorian basically has dropped off the grid. He's erased like all of his social media. Like he hasn't used a cell phone in days. He hasn't checked any kind of emails. He hasn't come up anyplace. And when she goes to the university that he was working out of, she finds an orchid, and then which leads her to finding him at an underground restaurant that's, I guess, extremely exclusive. And when we meet Dorian, he thinks Robin's a waitress, and he starts complaining about the food and tells her to take it and go poison a dog and bring him something that's actually edible. And she's like, I'm not a waitress, buddy. I'm here to take you back in because you took off and your visa's expired. And, his snarky comments really made him really kind of, for me, unlikable. Even towards the end, when we kind of see why he's doing what he's doing, it's just he still really wasn't that likable. He made it seem like everybody is nowhere near as smart as him. So he thinks he's just smarter than everybody else. Like he's the smartest person in the room, and everybody else is just completely inferior to him. And it just I don't know. It just I kind of had mixed feelings about this episode. It just So Robin quickly finds out that there are a lot of government agencies after this guy. After she pulls him out of the restaurant, they get shot at. And she ends up talking to Bishop, and she wants to know why this just pick up and bring in turned out to be something a lot more that could have gotten her killed, So she starts looking into the reasons why everybody's like looking for him, and why like the CIA wants him, and why the British want him. There's even Russians in this too, and the Triad are in this as well. So Robin ends up when she finds him again, she takes Dorian back and to Harry's place, and makes him tell them everything, like why everybody's after him. And when he does, Harry's like, yeah, no way, that's impossible. And he proves it, and Harry's like, wow, he's like, this is crazy, and Harry says there's only one way to deal with this situation because of what Dorian basically created and discovered, and that doesn't really sit well with Robin. So Bishop goes and talks to Nash, who is the CIA director, and she says she'll sweeten the deal with Robin if she brings Dorian into them. So we get introduced to the actual director of the CIA in this episode, which I thought was kind of interesting. And towards the end of the episode, Robin, Bishop, and Nash are bringing Dorian in when a van stops them. And what happens next was honestly kind of a surprise, but at the same time, it wasn't. It really fits the MO of Robin to a T. So I thought that was an interesting little twist, but still, the effects in this were okay. I didn't really have a huge problem with anything except for, again, the choreography is a little bit, it still is not very good. They basically have Robin doing 2-on-1 fights again, where it's kind of two people against her instead of multiple. Like more than 5, like in the very first episode. So there are kind of a couple of jump cuts where they have to do something really fast, so they try to make it look like it's fast. But it's really one-on-one fights because she knocks one guy down and then continues to beat up the other guy, but then knocks him down and then goes back to the other guy, and it just excuse me, it's still not really that good, but they gotta do what they gotta do, and you can only work with what you can work with. So the acting in this was still really not that great. Again, Dorian kept trying to make Robin think everybody was inferior to him, and he figured that he was even more clever than she is, but she was like, oh, no, see, I took these from you in the gas station, and, he's like, oh, how did you do that? And, so he's kind of realizing that she's not an idiot, but, yeah, she's obviously not as smart as a guy who literally writes, discovers something that could change the world for good or bad, so it goes along with it, and yeah, overall, you can tell that the writers wanted to expand the world and show us that Robin could work a CIA case, but at the same time, it does take away from the Equalizer part where she's actually trying to help people. So apparently, she's not getting as much work doing that as we thought, because now she's going to be working CIA cases as well. So again, I mean, this episode was slightly better than the previous episodes, but again, it still really wasn't good. The introduction of Nash as an adversary could be interesting if they could maybe find a balance, because this show still is trying to find its balance with her personal life, her home life, her helping people life, and now her CIA work life. Because she basically, if she wanted to keep doing the Equalizer bit, she had to go back to work for the CIA. So, I mean, they're trying to keep her on a short leash, but she's basically doesn't like that. And I don't know. I honestly would still give this, excuse me, episode a 4.5, 5. I'm leaning more towards the 5 out of 10, just for the simple fact that we didn't really get all the preachiness like previous episodes, and they did kind of keep the home life cut down to a bare minimum in this. They still need to figure out the balance between all of that, because it doesn't really work in some cases. And this episode is still no exception. This was not a very good episode at all. If you guys like what I do, please hit the like button and also subscribe, as I'll be doing more content each week. Take care for now, everybody. And leave a comment down below, too, please. Let me know what you thought about this episode.